This is Visitor's Book, and I'm Maija, your host. In this program, we're going to be meeting with diplomats and foreigners who are here in Pakistan, and we're going to find out what they really think about the country. Let's go. So today we're here in Islamabad's Saidpur village, and we're here to meet with Hausmann. He's the climate change advisor for Germany's Red Cross. So let's go find him. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, what a wonderful spot we have here, huh?
Brilliant, yes.
Crazy monkeys running around.
Indeed.
So, how did you end up in Pakistan?
I took on a job offer back in 2017. Arrived in Pakistan December 17.
Yeah.
So been here just about 2 years.
Okay, wow. And was the country so far, has it been what you expected, or has anything surprised you particularly?
I think nothing is ever as you expect it to be.
That's very true.
Yeah, I think it reinforced a few things. The beauty of the country, the hospitality of the people.
Yeah, great. And you've worked all over the world. Which countries, where were you before you came here, for example?
I worked 6 years in Tanzania. I worked 7 years in Indonesia, a couple of years in Cambodia, Lebanon. Visited a number of countries with work, 6 months in Nepal.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite a number of countries.
Great. Was there any country that stood out in particular for you?
Indonesia.
That you like? What was the reason for that?
A number of reasons. I think again, perhaps hospitality, friendliness in general of people. How happy people can be even when faced with adversity.
Yeah.
I think those are some of the things that stood out with Indonesia. Yeah.
That's really great. And sorry, what was the country you were in before you came here?
That was Cambodia.
Yeah, okay. That's quite different as well,
Very different.
Yeah.
South Asia is different.
Yeah.
Sure.
What would you say are the main differences there?
I think perhaps development-wise, for sure, Southeast Asia, the Southeast Asian tiger economies are roaring ahead.
Yeah.
Where South Asia is perhaps a little bit slower in getting going.
Yeah. So, German Red Cross, what does the organization do here in Pakistan, actually?
Well, German Red Cross have been here since 1983, so a long-term partnership with Pakistan Red Crescent.
Yeah.
Mostly centering on disaster relief. So some of the bigger operations were definitely the earthquake 2005,
Exactly.
the super floods 2010.
Yeah.
So disaster preparedness, disaster response have been the mainstay of German Red Cross work, and still is in Pakistan.
Yeah, and I'm always a little bit confused about how all these different countries, Red Cross, Red Crescent organization work together in one country. Like how does that happen? Like, is the coordination done through like the Pakistani Red Crescent, or how does it happen actually?
Well, by virtue of who we are, an umbrella organization, we always work through the national society, national society,
Exactly.
and in this case, Pakistan Red Crescent.
Yeah.
So they are the implementers, and we support them and advise,
I see.
and work in partnership with them.
Okay.
So that's how it works. The International Red Cross, Red Crescent, is also here to support coordination and organizational development.
All right. So are there any particular regions in the country that the German Red Cross focuses on, or are all the projects like all over the country basically?
No, we historically and also currently focusing on provinces of KP and Sindh.
Yeah, great.
So we have projects in both provinces.
And I think a lot of people also have this perception that the Red Cross, Red Crescent movement focuses on war and victims of war, but that's not always the case, is it?
And this is where it becomes a little bit technical, because the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, have a mandate to work whenever conflict is the mainstay of the disaster, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas the International Federation of the Red Cross, Red Crescent Societies, counting about 190 in the world at this moment, will be focusing on natural disasters.
Okay.
So it's a very, very sharp division between the two.
Right. Okay, so that makes sense then. Great. And so what are the guiding principles of the movement? What would you say?
Well, we have 7 fundamental principles of the Red Cross, Red Crescent movement. Humanity, universality, impartiality, independence, neutrality, might have said that already, voluntarism, and independence. I think those were 7.
Yeah, great. So have you gotten to travel to any of these project sites? Like, have you gotten to see any of them?
Yes, I've been to KP, unfortunately only Peshawar, but Sindh I actually visited recently some slum areas in Karachi.
Do you feel like the Pakistani government has a lot of initiatives like this? Is it working on making the conditions better in the slums, or is that like an issue that hasn't received so much attention maybe?
And the government, I think, is doing whatever it can with the means that's at its disposal.
Yeah.
But it's a joint effort between government and non-government organizations.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. But yeah, should we go take a look around here in the Saidpur village?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. Yeah, such a nice view here, huh?
It is. It is.
It's like one of my favorite places actually in Islamabad because you get a little bit of culture here, which you don't find
Very
in
much
the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you usually like to do in your free time besides rock climbing?
Well, off work, exercise, walk in F9 Park,
Okay.
cooking,
Oh, nice.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to work.
But yeah, should we go find a place to eat something?
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Great. Time to take a short break. See you in a bit. Yeah, should we sit down here?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Welcome back. We're here with Hans Hausmann, the climate change advisor of the German Red Cross, and we're about to order some food, right? Are you a fan of Pakistani food?
Very much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Dal, rotis, palak paneer.
Okay, you're a vegetarian,
Yes.
right? Okay, so thank you. Have you found it challenging to be a vegetarian in Pakistan? Because people eat quite a lot of meat here, right?
Yeah, I have, but then I cook mostly myself, so I'll get around it
That's
that
great.
way.
So, yeah, would you like to have some dal then?
Dal will be it
Yeah,
for me, yeah.
we'll have some dal and roti with it, I think.
Yeah,
And let's have some pakode.
yeah, fine.
Perfect.
Very good.
Oh, thank you. So you work in the climate change program of the Red Cross. And you mentioned to me earlier that you've done a lot of training events, you've gotten to visit some universities here in Pakistan. How much awareness is there, would you say, about this issue in the country?
Well, obviously a growing concern worldwide, and through that also heightened awareness, also in Pakistan. Although I think it's still perhaps a little bit of an elitist
Exactly,
issue.
yeah.
So universities are well aware, technical faculties, but at community level, there is not a lot of awareness.
Yeah, yeah. So how can that be changed? How can people, like, let's say people who live in rural areas, how can they become more aware of the issues of climate change?
I think access to information is an obvious avenue.
Yeah.
Trying to close the gap between science and policy making and then practice at community level has always been a challenge, but when it comes to climate change, even more so. So I think one of the things that we work on through the Pakistan Red Crescent is to bring some of that information to the communities through our community-based projects.
Okay, that's great. And this is also, like you mentioned, becoming a very hot topic these days. And I think you are going to attend like a march here in Pakistan soon.
There'll be a march coming soon, organized by CSOs in Pakistan, but it's a neutral march, so to say, trying to get the attention of policymakers, but also all segments of society in Pakistan to create more awareness around why it's crucial to adapt and address the issue. Pakistan being very diverse in terms of eco-regions, going from the north, from the glaciers down to the deserts of Sindh, the breadbasket of Punjab as well, the delta around the coastline is going to be affected in various ways. The warming incidents that is forming part of climate change is going to rapidly melt glaciers, increase the runoff from those glaciers. But the problem is that with erratic weather patterns and seasons, it's going to affect agriculture first and foremost, so food production.
Yeah.
And also, of course, influence heavily on an already very stressed water environment. So water availability is a huge challenge, and water quality equally so.
Exactly. But why is Pakistan so vulnerable then? Like, what are the main reasons?
Yeah, first and foremost, the region of South Asia, population density, infrastructure deficiencies to a certain extent. But again, how much it relies on its natural resources.
Right.
Not the only country that does, but to a much larger extent. Pakistan relying on its energy production from hydropower, for example. Hydropower is already and will be much more affected by a changing climate, goes without saying.
Okay.
Less rainfall or higher rainfall will mean that you will have to discharge water from your dams, water that could have otherwise be stored and be used for electricity production, but increased runoff from the land will also lead to higher erosion rates, sedimentation of reservoirs and dams. So you're facing a multitude of challenges.
Wow. And are there any particular areas in the country where you're going to start seeing like some changes pretty quickly?
Well, I think the change is already there.
Yeah.
I think what we have been seeing this year and last year in Sindh, for example, Balochistan, where you had droughts, and mixed with those droughts, you actually had flash floods.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where the intensity of rainfall is at a level where it simply washes off the top layers of soil. Infiltration into the aquifers below is simply not happening because of the speed with which the rain is falling.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of challenges, and some of them very technical.
Should we try some of these wonderful pakoras? It's spicier than usual.
Do you cook?
I do.
Pakistani food?
Sometimes, yeah. Over the years, I've kind of learned a couple of dishes. What about you?
Yeah, I have an old lady who visits me once in a while on a Friday afternoon. An old Pakistani lady who used to work for the French ambassador.
Oh, wonderful.
And she comes around, and then I say, today we cook bindi and roti and aloo.
Yeah.
And then she shows me. Well, she prepares, and then we cook together.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I'm her student, and she's the teacher.
Excellent.
That's
so then,
very nice.
Yeah. Do you get to go home often from here?
Twice a year.
So then you can show off your cooking skills.
Yeah, I'm having a new kitchen built in Denmark. So,
oh, wow.
Hopefully one day.
Great. Wow. So here comes the doll. Excellent. Thank you.
Never really get to stay long enough to sort of do the cooking back home, and there's always a lot of family and friends to see.
Of course, yeah. So yeah, let's start.
Ladies first.
Thank you. Wow, this looks amazing. I'll serve you.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Wow. It's yummy. But yeah, there are a lot of dishes that are, for vegetarians as
true.
well. So.
Chickpeas,
Exactly.
potato-based,
Yeah.
bread, of course. Bread here is really nice.
It is, yeah, it's lovely. So let's try some of this. And so this decision of yours to become vegetarian, is that also related to climate change?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I've lived as a pescatarian, I should say, so fish and vegetables the last 5-6 years.
Okay.
But it's rooted in health, my own health.
Yeah.
So that was the first step. I'd read a lot about it over the years, and I also noticed that a lot of sports personalities were actually, sort of top sports person and professional sports people were vegetarians. So I thought, okay, well, if that's possible too, then let me have a go.
Oh wow!
But it was a gradual process, cutting down on meat gradually.
Yeah.
And now I don't need it anymore. It doesn't make a difference. And if it doesn't make a difference, why do it? And then of course the climate aspect came into to meat as well, with beef being the culprit.
Right.
And again, digestion, I think what I experienced myself is that digestion is so much better without meat.
Interesting.
So yeah. Why not?
So how long have you been interested in these climate change issues? Like, is this something that you knew for a long time that you wanted to work on for your entire life, or it just kind of came from somewhere?
No, I started out as a forester back in the 90s, and
Wow.
working in the forest for 4 years. I was kind of, based on my interest in nature and the environment. I thought perhaps I could combine the work that I'd done in the forest with language. So I ended up at a British university studying forestry and international development. And then I thought maybe it would be a nice thing to do abroad. So combining, seeing other countries and exploring other cultures at the same time as working.
Wow.
So it was kind of, it's founded in that dream, which I would then say I've kind of come full circle now, because the last 2 years has been climate change.
Exactly.
But before then it was 10 years of disaster management.
Okay.
With the Red Cross. And the mix of disasters, climate-related disasters, and climate change and environmental issues is right there in front of us.
Yeah.
And very linked.
Exactly.
So I think that that really is the reason for doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Well, that's really great. And how long do you think you'll be staying in Pakistan still?
Well, I know that I'll be staying until mid-February next year, and that's the end of my contract.
Oh wow. Okay. What do you think you'll miss the most?
People, food, and sun.
Really, the sun. So you don't think it's too hot here?
I see the heat as a little bit of a test.
Okay.
15th of June 2018, it was 47 degrees Celsius in Islamabad at 3:15 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I know that because I was walking in F9 Park.
Okay.
And I didn't meet, I met one other person and he was like, no, go home, it's too hot. But I think it was a test. Yeah. So
Right.
I took it as a test, and I do like the heat.
That's interesting, because for me as well, we're both from cold Scandinavian countries. I cannot stand the winters here. I don't like the cold.
Okay.
And I'm just happy when it's warm, basically. So, yeah.
I actually like both
understand.
extremes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so extreme cold, extreme heat is kind of, although from a sort of physical comfort level, 20 degrees Celsius is
That's perfect. Yeah, it's we're about to get there.
I know.
In about a month.
Yeah.
So
September, October is very nice here.
great. So to go back to the climate change stuff a little bit, how do you see the situation, let's say like 20 years ahead? What kind of consequences are there going to be for Pakistan, and how do you see the situation?
I think the being an advisor in climate change in Pakistan obviously exposes you to not only the effects, but also a lot of the science that is now receiving a lot more attention because of what we see and feel and experience. And I think the exposure to the daunting prospects of what may lie ahead is a huge challenge, because you have to stay grounded, you have to stay optimistic faced with challenges of potentially that magnitude. Because if water levels per capita in Pakistan has been reduced by 80% over 30 years, also because of a rising population.
Yeah.
If you then have erratic rainfall patterns leading to much less water availability in the future, at the same time as a growing population, at the same time as a more stressed agricultural sector, then you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that many years ahead, we may well face challenges that are way above what we think possible.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And like some of the issues that we might be seeing are like increased migration, right? And like decreased crop production. What else is there?
I mean, there are already indications that wheat and rice yields are dropping significantly when CO2 levels are increased.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of research going on in closed environments where you have heightened or elevated levels of CO2 and what that does to our basic food crops.
Yeah.
And with agriculture, again, in Pakistan accounting for more than 90% of water use, that in itself should send alarm bells ringing.
Wow. Yeah. So that's something that can that people in Pakistan can concretely work towards to make things at least a little bit better.
We will all have to work towards that to conserve the resources. Again, very much linked to how we treat the environment.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I think we should go check out the Hindu temple and the Sikh temple here in the area. Have you ever been there before?
Not yet.
Okay, great. So let's go take a little walk then. Time to take a short break. See you in a bit. Welcome back. We're here in Saidpur village with Hans Hausmann, climate change advisor. Let's go. But yeah, so coming from Denmark, how much of a culture shock was it for you to come to Pakistan?
It was a huge change, huge shock. Arriving late night in February, Benazir Bhutto Airport. A lot of men standing covered in blankets and a lot of weapons.
Oh, wow.
And very cold. And I thought, no, this is Pakistan. It can't be. It has to be hot.
Yeah.
So that was it took me by surprise.
Yeah.
For sure.
But then you got to see the country more.
Then I got to see the country more. Traveled a bit, not a lot, but yeah.
Great.
And then things change. You become more accustomed to it.
Exactly. Have you seen this Hindu temple here before?
I have not. I might have seen it, but I didn't pay attention, perhaps.
It's pretty interesting, right? I mean, obviously, I don't think it's in use anymore, but it's from the pre-partition era.
Right.
Back when, this is, I think, one of the oldest places in Islamabad.
Okay.
This village was here before Islamabad was actually built in the 60s. So you get stuff like this, and there's the Sikh Gurudwara here, so you get all the history of the subcontinent here, which is really nice. And
It is.
they have this museum here if you want to
Yeah.
peek in. They have like all these really nice photographs, like from the time when Islamabad was being built.
Okay.
Let's see if we can go in, I'm not sure.
Islamabad used to be a forest.
Yeah,
I'm told.
exactly, nothing here. Oh, I think it's closed, but we can just admire the wonderful
Yeah, painting. Very, very
paintings
nice.
here. It's very beautiful.
It is.
Have you been to Lahore?
I have, but only a short 4-day trip, and I didn't really get to see much. You know, it was in line of work, so it's again, limited time to explore.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, let's check out this Rabab guy. Do you like traditional Pakistani music?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
Very good.
Wow.
Very good.
Zabardast. Excellent.
Pakistani banjo, yeah?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, this is like an instrument from like the Pashtun areas.
Right.
Actually. Yeah.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
You've mentioned you've been to Peshawar as well, is that right?
A few times, yes.
That wasn't your favorite place?
Not really. But again, I think, in the line of work, you work, you stay in the hotel, and you go back.
Yeah,
so I don't,
you don't get
I don't
to see
go
much.
to see as such.
Exactly.
City of Flowers, I didn't see many of them either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, interesting for
Yeah.
sure. And I wish I had time to see more there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, should we sit down here for a minute?
Yeah.
And you've also gone to visit the north, is that right? How was the experience?
Fantastic.
Where did you go?
Gilgit, Hunza, Gulmit, Pasu. Yeah, we made it as far north as Pasu and then back to Hunza.
Amazing.
But standout experience for sure.
Yeah, in what sense?
It's the last time I had tears in my eyes because of something that beautiful.
Oh, wow.
And that was the scenery, so yes.
Amazing.
And being into mountains as well, it's unique place.
Oh my God.
No doubt about that.
Great. Okay, so now it's time for our rapid fire round. Are you ready?
I am.
Excellent. Okay, shalwar, kameez, or suit?
Shalwar kameez, as long as I'm in Pakistan, no doubt.
Okay. Coffee or chai?
Coffee.
Are you a traveler or a bookworm?
Traveler.
Okay. Cricket or football?
That's difficult. These days, cricket.
Okay. Have you gotten to play cricket here?
I used to play a little bit at university.
Oh, really?
That's in the UK. That's when
interesting.
when I got to know it first, and so yeah, it is fantastic sport.
All right. Well, great. Pakistani food or Danish food?
Both.
Yeah, they are very different.
Very different.
So, 3 words to describe yourself.
Passionate, aging, and emotional.
Okay, wow. And 1 word to describe Islamabad.
Green.
True. Mountains or beach?
50-50.
All right, both. Yeah, you do need both in your life.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, northern Pakistan or the Alps?
Northern Pakistan.
I agree. Little Mermaid or Emperor's New Clothes?
I met the Emperor too many times, so I'd say the Little Mermaid.
Great. Islamabad or Phnom Penh?
Islamabad.
Europe or Asia?
Europe.
Okay, Tivoli or Legoland?
Tivoli.
The best thing about Pakistan?
Hospitality.
Excellent. All right, so now it is time for you to sign our visitor's book. Okay, let me just open it for you. There we go.
Thank you very much.
There. So your name and your comments. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. Let's see what you wrote. Thank you for having me this afternoon and for adding to my experience of an unforgettable Pakistan. Great. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
And I hope you continue to have a great time in Pakistan.
Will do.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. That's it for today. Please join me again next week. Goodbye.